What is going on, guys? It is your boy the Timecodes Gaming coming at you again with another video, and today guys we're going through week 3 of the OP10 weekly power rankings, and we finally have some major movement in the meta, guys. The past couple of weeks have kind of just been decks shifting around, list changing a little bit, but we have some major changes in week 3, guys. So in today's video, we're going to be going through the deck list, we're going to be going through the rankings, and of course the matchups and everything in between. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We're on the quest to 350 subs. We're almost there. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Okay, guys, we have a new best deck in the format. Doffy has somehow, some way clawed his way back to number 1 even after the Jinbei ban. I mean, I can't say that we didn't see it coming. This dude's win rate had been like 54-55% for the past couple weeks. The only reason that he was lower on the rankings was because of the number of matches, but of course once the deck starts seeing success, people are going to start picking it up again, and now it is at 9,550 matches, which is much higher than it had been for the past couple weeks. I think it was sitting at 6,000 last week, so an increase of 3,500 matches is absolutely fucking insane. And Doffy, yeah guys, he is back. He is better than it. I mean, not like he's not even better than ever, but he's still number 1, which is why we might be seeing this little dude at number 6 picking up in usage, but we'll get to him when we get there. Next we have Purple Luffy, guys. I feel like nobody, I said this last week, like no one's talking about Purple Luffy, but he has been a consistent top 3 deck throughout the entire format, and now he has taken the number 2 spot with 10,000 matches played, a 52% win rate, which is the 3rd highest on the top 10 list here. We have Doffy, then Zoro, and then the Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy just very strong, very consistent, and it sees most of the cards that it wants to see every freaking game because he has a searcher. He's able to take the top of his life, and then he just spirals out of control from there, and he has a lot of really good matchups as well. So Doffy and Purple Luffy taking the top 2 spots, guys. Red is starting to slide down. Shanks at the number 3 slot, 51.99% win percentage. 35,000 fucking games, guys. 35,254 games of Shanks were played in 1 week, which is fucking insane. I think last week he was at like 21,000, 20,000. So an increase of 15,000 usages is absolutely ridiculous. Shanks is still very strong. I can't see him ever dropping out of the top 5. He's just too consistent, his cards are too good, and red is just a very strong color. I'm interested to see what his matchup into Doffy is. So the Shanks Doffy matchup is actually completely even, so that is very interesting for sure. So I'm curious to see where Shanks goes. If maybe, I don't know, guys, the meta's getting crazy. We are actually seeing some movement here. Next we have Blackbeard, guys. 116 games played, 51.51% win percentage. So Blackbeard is still keeping that win percentage relatively high, even with his abysmal matchup into Doffy, a 30% matchup win rate into Doffy. So like with Doffy being number 1, like people are going to see number 1 Doffy and his usage is going to tick up. So Blackbeard, I feel like, is just going to keep falling because of the increase in Doffy usage. Like no one's going to watch people's videos about this and be like, okay, now's the time to not play Doffy. Everyone's going to pick up Doffy this week, and Blackbeard might be taking a big hit. I'm curious to see what changes they make to their list in order to combat the Doffys. So yeah, Blackbeard is, he's kind of stayed in this third and fourth spot throughout the OP10 so far, but with the Doffy starting to tick up, Blackbeard might be in trouble, guys. Next we have the Zoro. Zoro started at 1. So he's seen probably the largest drop out of any deck here. He still has a very respectable win rate, 52.63%, but his usage is not very good, which, I mean, that's not a criticism of him, but his win rate has just dropped every single week consistently. And I think this might be time for people to start trying different lists other than Animal. I think people are kind of familiar with Animal now. They know how to play against it. They know how to counter it, and they are running a lot of cards in order to deal with Animal in some fashion. So Zoro, I'd expect to stay at least in the top 7. I don't see him dropping outside of 7, especially with his His matchup into Doffy, well, I don't know, 40% matchup into Doffy. That is concerning for the Zoro player, and that might be a reason to try another list besides the animal. Maybe a more mid-range style of Zoro could start, like a mid-range aggro variant that's able to deal with Doffy's board a little bit better. Next, guys, we have Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci has had I think from the first top 10 video of OP10, Rob Lucci is the only leader that was not on that list that is now featured, and he is number 6, guys. So Rob Lucci is doing very, very well. He is above a 50% win rate, even though just barely. His usage is really starting to tick up. 8,500 games played, and I expect this just to keep rising as the Doffy start to dominate the meta, as Rob Lucci has a very, very strong matchup into that. Next, we have the Bonnie, guys. Bonnie falling below a 50% win rate for maybe the first time. I don't remember her being below 50%. But yeah, a lot of the decks, like a lot of bad matchups, guys. 47% into Shanks, 36% into Blackbeard, 49%, well, about even into Doffy, 49 and 49 into Doffy and Zoro. Absolutely getting blasted by Rob Lucci. About even into Smoker, even into Lit. She has a lot of very even matchups. Holy shit. 46, 49, 49, 49, 49, 47, 54. A lot of even matchups across the board, which really explains this number really close to 50%. Next, we have Lim, guys. Lim with 5,000 matches played, 51% win rate. And yeah, Lim has stayed consistent through this 7 to 10 range throughout the entirety of OP10. Purple Luffy is back on the list. I think it kicked Usopp out. Usopp snuck into the top 10 for a second there, and he's right back out. Purple Luffy is his replacement, as I think this was where he started OP10 at the number 9 slot. And then Eustace Captain Kid has been chilling at number 10 for the past couple of weeks here with the 50.91% win rate, 4,200 game, very low representation for Eustace Captain Kid. I'm so surprised that more people are not playing this deck. It is very strong, very consistent, and has some good matchups in the meta, especially with 53% into Doffy, so it could definitely start seeing some more representation. 53% into Doffy, 52% into Shanks. Those are some really solid matchups into two of the best decks in the format. So yeah, guys, these are the new top 10. These are your new top 10 rankings. Doffy has climbed his way back to number 1. I literally can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm curious to see if he holds this spot, as people are going to try to counter him now. So a lot of very interesting things moving forward in the OP10 meta. So with that being said, guys, let's get right into the deck list. Starting off with our Doffy. The Doffy list has stayed pretty much identical to what it's always been, but we do have the inclusion of the 10-drop Kaido here, and we do have 2 of the Perfume Femur? I'm gonna say Femur, and then the 3 Red Rocks and the 2 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Besides that, guys, maybe the Kaido is the spiciest thing that I've seen in the Doffy list for now. This is really just your ordinary Doffy, not much to say about that. Next, we have the Purple Luffy, guys. Purple Luffy, see if there's anything spicy cooking in the Purple Luffy list. Absolutely nothing. This is a very generic Purple Luffy. Oh, maybe the Tony Chopper. What does this card even do? End of your turn, you may return 1 or more Dawn cards from your field to your Dawn deck. Set this character as active. Then this character gains a blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. I mean, I guess I just don't know. Oh, it's another target for Luffy Taro, I guess, and it's another blocker. So it's not bad. I mean, a fine card. I don't know if it's necessary to include, but I mean, this guy found success with it. So yeah, very nice Purple Luffy list, kind of what we expect at this point. Next, we have the Shanks. Shanks has been changing, like the list that I've been seeing from Shanks have been changing a little bit here and there. Let's see if we see anything spicy that has changed from last week. We do have the Silver's Rayleigh. I think this was included last week. And then we have the 4 of 10 drop Shanks, just your basic Shank stuff here, guys. We have the 4. I don't think the 5 cost Marco was at 4. 5 cost Marco is being ran at 4. I mean, I need to look. Like, I don't know if Red has better removal available, because Marco, the advantage is that, one, he has 1k counter, he's a 5 cost 6k, and he has the on play KO at 3k or less. But what sets Marco apart is that ability to just stay on board regardless of what's going on the rest of the game. But we're only running 2 events to be able to trash to the Marco, so you're not able to get that extra power that really sets Marco apart from other cards. So, but I guess people are still finding a lot of success with it. Seeing 4 of is very interesting in the Shanks deck. So yeah, very curious there. I do want to test the 5-cost Marcos in the Shanks for myself and see how it goes. So a lot of potential with this deck. Shanks is just very consistent, very strong, and will always be a contender in the meta, at least for now. Next we have Blackbeard, guys, and off the rip, I'm seeing a lot of generic Blackbeard shit, but we do have the 3 of Laboon. Laboon sneaking his way into the Blackbeard list. It looks like they took out I think the Tempest Kicks were in this list last week. So it looks like they took out 3 of the Tempest Kicks to opt for 3 of Laboon. And I do like that addition. Laboon is just a very nice enabler of cards like .Q, enabler of cards like Black Hole. Yeah, just a very strong card for Laboon. It is activate main, give a character -4 cost. Very, very strong there. Besides that, just basic Blackbeard stuff. Next we have the Zoro list, and starting off, we're seeing a bunch of animals. We're seeing the 3-cost Rush Zoro, we're seeing the 5-cost Luffy, and that's about it, guys. We see the 1 of Jambe sneak in there. Oh, we see the 2 of Gum Gum Mulgun. Everybody's playing that card right now. Gum Gum Mulgun is very, very strong. So this is the new Zoro list, and the Kitten Killer I really like, a very strong card to go for game with. Let me go ahead and go. Okay, guys, after a quick dinner, I am back. So here we're getting into the Raw Belucci. This is rank number 6 currently on the Rank Sim ladder. And let's see what we got here, guys. Is there anything spicy? Are they cooking anything crazy? Of course, we have the Laboon, guys. Laboon sneaks his way into another top 10 deck, running a 4 of Laboon and running 3 of the Hina. So I would think that Laboon would kind of take the place of the Hina ability, but running 2 of the 3 big cost reduction cards, you have the Uta, you have the Laboon, and you have the Hina, like, in my opinion, that's a little bit overkill. And you're running the 4 of Kuzans. Like, this dude is minus costing fucking everything. His Brooks are running wild, and then he's running the 3 of Jack and the 3 of Kaido. The rest is kind of, you know, generic Lucci shit. But the 4 of Laboon, the 3 of Hina, the 4 of Kuzans, and the 4 of Uta, that is a lot of cost reduction with, I mean, and the 4 of Tempest Kicks. I just don't know if you need that much in the deck. Maybe some more blockers, or some more 2Ks, or a 0 cost event, or 2 like a Shockwave. That is very interesting. I'm curious to play with it and to see if these cost reductions actually come up. Like, if you're not playing these Hinas, they're just dead in your hand unless you're discarding them to the Jack or the Kaido. But they might just be sitting there if you have a Laboon on board. And with Kaido and Jack, you don't really need that much cost reduction. Anyway, guys, very interesting list. I do want to try this out. Next, we're getting into the Bonnie. Bonnie has been running the exact same list since I was fucking born. There has not been a... Oh, never mind. Never mind. We got a 1 of 3-cost Electrical Luna. All of your opponent's rested characters with a total cost of 7 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. What the fuck is that? When did that come out? OP... I can't even see, but very interesting. Only a 1 of. I didn't even know that card existed, to be honest. But besides that, guys, just Bonnie doing Bonnie shit. Exact same list we've seen for the past. Oh, wait. Uruguay. 4 cost, 5k. No, that's been ran. Never mind. Okay, yeah, on to the next. We're going into the Limb here, guys. I don't have a lot of commentary to say about this list, but we will still scroll through it just so you can see what he is running, or she, he or she. We have 3 of 9-cost Zoros, 3 of 9-cost Shanks, the 2 of 9-cost Adios. We're running a bunch of the 5 costs for the Odyssey package, and yeah, just your generic Limb stuff, nothing too crazy there. Next, into the red purple Luffy, guys, one of my favorite decks in the world. And red purple Luffy has been changing a lot, so let's look what this dude is running. So he's running the ST21 Luffy off the bat. That is That is something that I put in my turbo deck. But this deck doesn't, it looks like a mix between turbo and long range, or not like a not control red purple Luffy, because that doesn't really exist, but like slower red purple Luffy, because you have the 5-drop Luffys, you have the 4 of Queens, and you're running the Eustace Captain Kid, but you're also running the Monkey D Dragons and the 9-cost Luffy. So a very kind of mid-range red purple Luffy list. It has some elements of the, and it's running the 4 of 3-cost Sanji. This is a very strange list. I think you should, I mean, obviously it made the top 10 for a reason, but for me personally, it just seems like you don't know what you want to do with this list. Like, either commit to the long range red purple Luffy game or commit to the turbo. This is kind of somewhere in the middle, and like, you just don't know what you're doing game to game, which I guess is fine. But a very interesting red purple Luffy list. Not my, I mean, I can't speak on it. Like, I've never played this list, obviously, but it just doesn't seem like it's a well put together, like, it doesn't seem like he has a plan. Like, there's no plan here with this list. You're just running a bunch of cards, a bunch of good red purple cards, and I guess it worked for him. So yeah, interesting red purple Luffy list. And then next we're getting into the Eustace Captain Kid, and into the Captain Kid we have some interesting choices, like a lot of the same stuff. This is what we usually see. The Satoris, I think the Nami might be a new addition. Of course, the Gadatsus, running the 4 of Nico Robbins, running the 4 of Laws, running the 4 of Eustace Captain Kid. And we finally got rid of all of those huge vanilla bodies. Like, I've been saying, like, this list, they were running 4 of the 6-cost vanillas, like 4 of the 5-cost vanillas, and you just don't need that. Like, there's no reason to be running that many vanillas in this list when you can run a lot of other powerful yellow cards. So I'm glad to see that that version of the list is finally out of the top 10, because I thought it was kind of generic and relatively not optimized. So I'm glad to see Eustace Captain Kid is still doing well, and with a more, seems like a more put together yellow list here. Okay, that is all of the deck list, guys. Now let's get into the matchups. So clicking over to the main page here, I just want to go through like some of the matchups that stand out to me. What are some of the really high numbers and the really low numbers? So starting off with Shanks, you can see a lot of his matchups are very even across the board. 50%, 46%, 52%, 50%, 46, 54, 53, 55. And then his one bad matchup is into red purple Luffy, a 36% win rate. And then Eustace Captain Kid and Blackbeard also have a winning matchup into him, as well as Zoro. 47% for the Kid, 46% for the Zoro, and 46% for the Blackbeard. So about what you would expect for Shanks, just kind of even across the board, nothing too crazy on either end, except for Usopp. Usopp just getting his ass absolutely handed to him. Tragic for Usopp, boys. That's probably why he's out of the top 10, honestly. A 70% win rate into Usopp when you have 35,000 fucking games played will knock a deck out of the top 10. Next into Blackbeard, guys. Let's see, 29% into Doffy. That will be a problem, as I said earlier in the video, because people are going to see the Doffy at number 1 and they're going to flock to Doffy decks, guys. Doffy, I expect this number to be around like 16,000 matches next week. So I'm curious to see how much that usage ticks up. But Blackbeard, you know, 54% into Shanks, 40% into Zoro, 43% into Pluffy. Really good matchup into Lucci, really good matchup into Bonnie. Smoker about even. Oh, and Smoker's gone too, guys. Smoker's been gone for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, I don't know if Smoker will ever come back into the top 10. I think it's a very strong deck, like definitely A tier, like a contender. But I don't know if it is strong enough to break its way into the top 10 again. So getting into Purple Luffy, see if there's any crazy numbers. 68% into Usopp. Usopp's just getting his ass fucking handed to him. Jesus Christ. All the top 3 decks here are just, I mean, Blackbeard's matchup isn't that good, but still a winning matchup for Blackbeard. And then the 70% into Shanks into Usopp, and then 69% of Purple Luffy into Usopp is so tough. Other than that, about what you'd expect from Purple Luffy, a lot of even matchups, and then his best matchup being into Usopp. Next, getting into Doffy, guys. I really want to get into this. So we have 49% win rate into the Shanks, So having a even matchup into the most popular deck in the format is obviously a fucking good thing. Having a 71% win rate into Blackbeard, the second most popular deck, is obviously fucking important. And then just across the board, guys, just very, very strong. 53% into Ploofy, 60% into Zoro, 50% into Bonnie, 56.3% into Smoker, 53% into Red Purple Luffy, 55% into Lim. And then the one deck that kind of is able to shut it down besides Rob Lucci is the Usopp. But Usopp's just getting fucked by so many other decks. Like, look at this Usopp, look at this Usopp lane, like just mostly green, which indicates that decks are having positive matchups into it. So I don't think Usopp is the answer into Doffy. I think it's going to have to be the Rob Lucci. So yeah, getting into Zoro, guys. Zoro has fallen considerably from his once #1 ranking slot, but he's still doing really, really good. The problematic matchups, it looks like, are the 34% into the Rob Lucci. And besides that, everything is above 40%. So very, very strong for Zoro. Will always be a consistent deck. I'm curious if people start adapting, because he's fallen quite a bit. Like, I want to see if people will actually get off the animal list and try something else. But the only really bad matchup it has is the 34% into Lucci, and the 40.5% into Doffy is bad, but not unattainable. Like, you'll still be able to win some games there. Next, guys, getting into the Rob Lucci. So a 46% into Shanks. This, like, I feel like this should be a positive matchup for Lucci, but those huge drops that get those gigantic swings in that have rush, like the dragons, the 10-drop Shanks, just put a lot of pressure on the Rob Lucci. Like, I've played this matchup a considerable amount, and that is really the issue here. The middle game is fine. It's just once you get to that end game, they're able to put down gigantic bodies and swing at you with rush. And then the 33% into Blackbeard, guys, there's just really nothing you can do about that. You just have to take the L if you're playing against Blackbeard, pretty much. Same thing with Usopp, but luckily Usopp's getting beaten down by so many other decks. You probably won't have to deal with it very much. Rob Lucci's still looking very safe in this meta. Bonnie's line is so red, holy shit. But it looks like they're all about even. Like, she's just barely losing some of these matchups. 49%, 49%, 49%, 49%, 47%. Like, Bonnie's probably fine. I doubt she'll fall out of the top 10. Her leader ability is just too strong. But I'm glad to see she is not in that top 5. I absolutely despise Bonnie. It is a fucking pain in the ass to play against. I hate playing against that deck. Next, guy's into Smoker. I guess we can talk about Smoker, but it's not on the top 10. It seems like its big problem is into Zoro, into Lucci, and into Lim, as well as the Eustace Captain Kid. Actually has a pretty good win rate into the Shanks, 44%. I mean, not good, but not horrible. And then a even matchup into Blackbeard. So I'm actually surprised. Well, I guess its other matchups are just not good enough. But having a relatively good matchups into the top two most popular decks in the format is very, very nice. Next, getting into Red Purple Luffy, a 64% win rate into Shanks. That is the reason to play Red Purple Luffy, is just that really, really good matchup into the Shanks. Just because you're able to swing those free 5Ks into him with your 6K leader, that Shanks is usually able to get around. His problematic matchups are, of course, the Bonnie. That matchup fucking blows balls, guys. 27%. It's almost impossible. Like, it feels impossible when you're playing against a Bonnie as a Red Purple Luffy. But other than that, the 35% into Zoro and the rest across the board are looking pretty good. Once again, Usopp just getting absolutely destroyed. 69% win rate into Usopp for Red Purple Luffy. Getting into Lim next. Any huge numbers? Once again, Usopp just getting absolutely fucking destroyed. 61% win rate into Usopp. What the fuck? But Lim's probably not higher on this list just because of the 39% win rate into Shanks. That is not going to cut it. I think that is the lowest, besides Usopp, of course, against Shanks. That is the worst matchup out of the top 10 decks that has into Shanks, except Usopp. Next guy is Usopp. Usopp had his moment in the sun. He was in the top 10 for a little bit, but his matchups are just too fucking ass, guys. Like, he's either absolutely destroying decks or he's getting fucking shit on. 29% into Shanks, 31% into Ploofy, 30% into Red Purple Luffy, 38% into Lim. And then his good matchups are 78.2% into Lucci, which isn't that popular, and a 60.7% win rate into Doffy. So I guess Usopp can make a comeback if Doffy's popularity fucking goes through the roof. But there's so many decks that have like amazing matchups into Usopp, so I just don't know if he'll be a top 10 deck for the rest of the format. So I'm curious to see where he goes. And then next, guys, for the final deck, we have Yellow Kid. Yellow Kid, nothing really too crazy. Positive matchup into Shanks, very nice there. A positive matchup into Doffy, so that is a lethal combination. Two positive matchups into the two of the top decks in the format. 58% into Zoro, also very, very nice. 58% into Smoker, 62% into Red Purple Luffy, 30% into Usopp, and yeah, Yellow Kid looking still consistent. A lot of good matchups, probably about even. Nothing too crazy, nothing too bad. But yeah, guys, those are the matchups for today, and I think that is it for this video. The meta is shaping up. This has been the most interesting week by far, just because the lists have changed quite a bit. We have Doffy and Purple Luffy taking the top 2 spots, Zoro falling to number 5, Rob Lucci moving up to number 6, and just a lot of movement, a lot of new lists, and a lot of great One Piece to be played. I'm very curious to see where this goes for next week. For next week, I think my predictions, I think Doffy remains number 1. I think Doffy stays number 1. I think Shanks is going to move up to number 2. Purple Luffy's going to drop to 3. I think that Zoro's going to move up to 4. I think Teach is going to move down to 5. I think Lucci is going to stay exactly where he is at 6. I think Lim is going to move to 7. Bonnie is going to move to 8. And then Purple Luffy and Kid. So those are my predictions for next week. If I get all 10 right, you have to subscribe. And that is all I ask. So with that being said, guys, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It is Thursday, one more day until the weekend. I cannot wait, and I hope it is wonderful for you as well. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you.